Tweet this right now. You don't break principles. Principles break you. Write it down. Put it where your eyes cannot escape it. Send it to a friend who keeps asking for secrets and shortcuts. Because this is the secret. There are no secrets. There are only laws. Principles are laws. They never change. They don't take polls. They do not wait for your agreement. They deliver consequences on schedule. I am not talking about a tip, a hack, a trend, or a technique. Techniques age. Trends fade. Tips depend on the room you're in, but a law rules the room. Gravity is not Republican or Democrat. It is gravity. Jump off a 10-story building with a positive attitude and a powerful brand, and the law will give you an appointment with the pavement on time. You can ignore it, but you cannot disagree with it. You don't break principles. Principles break you. Tweet that again. Here is the promise I am making to you as we begin. There is a law that makes success automatic to the degree you align with it. When you find it and submit to it, you will not chase outcomes. Outcomes will chase you. Scripture says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever man sows, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6:7. That is not a devotional thought. That is a jurisdictional decree. The universe is wired with rewards for alignment and penalties for violation built in by the manufacturer. So here is the question that sets the fire under your chair. What principle are you violating that is silently costing you? Not loudly, the quiet invoice, the late email, the delayed promotion, the strained marriage, the fragile reputation. Hosea wrote, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, Hosea 4:6. Ignorance is not innocence. Ignorance is exposure. When the bill comes due, you cannot say, I didn't know. The law will reply, I did. Let me make it plain with a story. I sat with a young founder, call him Daniel Bright, gifted, magnetic. He lost the contract everyone wanted. Not because his product failed, but because he tried to impress the client by exaggerating a delivery date. A small lie, a tiny bend. The principle of trust did not bend with him, it broke him. The client told me privately, if he'll lie small now, he'll lie big when the stakes rise. Daniel didn't lose a contract, he collided with the law. Write this down. The weight of your words determines the weight people place on your life. We are going to take a journey together, and I will show you why character must precede power image before dominion. Then God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Notice the order. Image first, dominion second. Power will expose you if character doesn't govern you. But this is not a message of despair. It is an invitation to alignment. By the end of our time, you will identify one principle you've been ignoring and execute one correction today, not tomorrow, today, because success is not a miracle. It is a schedule kept by law. Align once and the engine starts. Align daily and the engine runs by itself. Lead with your life. Set your face like flint. And say with me now, honesty is my only policy. Now let reality become your teacher. Why do we call the alphabet characters? Because characters never change. Write that down. A is always A. A at 2 a.m. is still A at 2 p.m. A in Africa is A in Atlanta. A in a palace is A in prison. It does not adjust itself to the weather, the room, or the audience. B is still B. C is still C. The alphabet is called characters because they don't change under pressure. That is why you learn to trust them enough to read, to write, to make contracts, to build a life upon a sentence. You cannot read a paragraph if A sometimes pretends to be Z. Tweet this. Confusion begins where character bends. Numbers preach the same sermon. 1 is always 1, 2 is always 2. 1 on Monday is 1 on Friday. 1 in New York is 1 in Nairobi. 2 in a storm is still 2 in the sunshine. Write it down. Mathematics is the global language because numbers do not lie about themselves. Imagine if 3 decided to be 4 when the deal got difficult. Bridges would fall, planes would drop, banks would collapse. Trust exists because sameness exists. Where there is sameness, there is safety. Where there is drift, there is danger. That is why Scripture says of God, I, the Lord, do not change. Malachi 3-6. And again, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. James 1:17. Holiness is oneness. Integrity is sameness. The foundation of trust is integrity. Consider a statue. Weather comes, heat, cold, rain, wind, and the statue does not chase the forecast. It stands. It does not perform for applause or shrink for criticism. Statues don't move when the climate shifts because they are set. Character is a statue in your soul. Character is unchanging integrity, self-imposed discipline that refuses to move when pressure tries to bargain. If you shift your stance because the room shifted, that is not character. If your truth is negotiable, it is not principle, it is preference. Write this down. If your rule changes with the room, it is not a rule, it is a mood. This is the bridge from character to principle. Character is a person being the same. Principle is a law being the same. What does not change defines what you can trust. You can never disagree with a principle because it does not consult your mood. You can only align or collide. The same is true of you. People will either align with your life or brace for your unpredictability. Let your yes be yes and your no, no, Matthew 5:37. That is not etiquette, that is architecture. When your words weigh the same in every room, people can build on you. When your decisions are alphabet decisions, A is always A, your life becomes readable, dependable, bankable. So here is the test. Are you the same person when you are promoted as when you were ignored? Are you the same at 2 a.m. as you are at 10 a.m.? Do you keep a promise when it hurts you to keep it? Psalm 15 says the righteous man swears to his own hurt and does not change. That is a statue. That is a number. That is a character. If you change under pressure, you did not have character, you had an act. If your conviction shifts in certain company, you did not have a principle, you had a preference. The world runs on what doesn't change. Air traffic, contracts, science, covenant, creation, everything stable is anchored to an unchanging law. Anchor your life the same way. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions. Decide your alphabet. Set your numbers. Become the statue in the storm. Because trustworthy lives are built on what never changes. And when you become the same everywhere, everywhere will trust you. Lead with your life. Let me now define the thing you cannot negotiate. A principle is a law fixed, universal, consistent beyond your vote and past your feelings. It does not rise with your mood or fall with your disappointment. It is settled. Scripture says, forever, O Lord, your word is settled in heaven. Psalm 119-89. And again, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 24-35. That is principle talk, settled, not suggested. Write it down. A principle is a pre-existing condition you must respect to succeed. Say it with me. You can never disagree with the principle. You can deny it, debate it, delay it, but you cannot disagree with it. Gravity is the professor that never retires. You can write a blog post against gravity, sing a song against gravity, even pass a law in your city council repealing gravity. But if you step off the roof, the law will introduce itself. And it never arrives late. You don't break gravity, gravity breaks you. The same with integrity, truth, sowing and reaping, honor, diligence. They are not suggestions, they are systems. You either suffer them or benefit from them. Here is the contrast I need you to brand on your mind. Advice is optional. Principles are operational. Advice asks for your agreement. Principles enforce their own. Advice is a preference. A principle is a pre-programmed process. Your friend says, I think you should call her back. That is advice. The principle says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 15-1. That law will produce a result whether you endorse it or not. Your mentor says, try waking earlier. Advice. The principle says, diligent hands will rule. Proverbs 12:24. Whether you like mornings or not, the law is at work. Tweet this right now. Advice is a tip. A principle is a trigger. Understand automaticity. Laws carry their own consequences. They do not need supervision. No angel is assigned to push apples down. The law of gravity does the work. No farmer negotiates with the soil every spring. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease. Genesis 8:22. The seed does not file a report, it obeys the principle. That is why success becomes automatic to the degree you align. Results are preloaded into the law. You place the seed in the right environment and the environment collaborates. You place your words in truth and trust collaborates. You place your money in discipline and compound interest collaborates. The law is working when you are sleeping. Let me confront your management addiction. You do not manage laws. You align with them. Write it down, tweet it, carve it on your desk. The moment you try to manage a law, you confess rebellion. You are not the legislator. You are the student. The pilot does not manage aerodynamics. He submits to lift and thrust. The surgeon does not manage biology. She cooperates with anatomy and healing. The leader does not manage integrity. He lives inside it. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. Psalm 19:7. Perfect means it doesn't need your edit. It needs your obedience. So the question is no longer, do I agree? The question is, am I aligned? Are my words aligned with truth? Are my relationships aligned with honor? Is my schedule aligned with diligence? Is my spending aligned with wisdom? Because principles are non-negotiable laws that reward alignment and punish violation automatically. If you align, outcomes turn into schedules. If you defy, consequences turn into appointments. Choose alignment now and let the laws you did not invent begin to serve the life you were born to live. Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Write it down. God's order is the law. Image before dominion. Character before power. Identity before influence. Heaven never gives dominion to a split soul. Heaven never wires power into a faulty heart. Tweet this right now. What God puts first, he protects. What you put first, he will test. What is image? Image is nature, likeness, character, the unchanging core that reflects the manufacturer. Holiness simply means oneness, integrity, integration, sameness. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, Deuteronomy 6:4. The Holy One is one, therefore be one. No public you and private you. No conference you and car ride you. Write it down. Integrate before you accelerate. Character is the circuit. Dominion is the current. If the wiring is fractured, the power that should light your city will burn your house down. Power does not corrupt. Power exposes corruption. Power will kill you without character. Dominion is not a toy, it is voltage. Before the manufacturer flips the switch, he inspects the lines. He checks your truth-telling, your promise-keeping, your money handling, your honor of authority when no one is watching. When image is aligned, when you are one, the current can flow safely and predictably. Tweet this. Predictability is the child of integrity. Do not confuse charisma with character. Charisma can open doors. Only character can keep them open. Your gift can get you into rooms where your lack of integrity will evict you. Many have tripped over microphones they weren't heavy enough to carry. Write it down. Your talent is a key. Your character is the hinge. Without a good hinge, the door that opens will fall off. Scripture says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10:9. Security is the fruit of sameness. That is why some people sleep soundly while others sleep with alarms. Integrity is its own security system. Automatic success is not a miracle. It is safe power moving through proven character. When your inner life agrees with the law of God, power becomes predictable. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly. Psalm 80:11. Upright is alignment, language, straight lines, square corners, true measures. When the line is true, the load can rest. When the heart is true, the gift can run. Heaven does not hesitate to fund integrity. Provision follows precision. So I am asking you a leader's question. Are you safe to bless? Can God trust you with applause and you stay the same? Can he trust you with access and you close the door on temptation? Can he trust you with authority and you use it to serve? Write it down. Lead with your life. Let your life be the manual others read. Paul wrote, you yourselves are our letter, known and read by everyone. 2 Corinthians 3:2. People are already reading you. They are studying your reactions, your invoices, your replies, your refusals. Be legible, be reliable, be one. Here is the switch you must flip today. Vow to be the same person everywhere. Say it out loud. Honesty is my only policy. Refuse private bargains your public cannot afford. Never do anything in secret you would not announce in church. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions and throw the key to God. When you align the image with the law, dominion becomes safe. Power flows where integrity wires. And when it flows, you won't chase influence. Influence will chase the soundness of your soul. Image before dominion. This is the order that keeps you alive. Let us move to the calendar of creation. Write it down. The seed law governs schedules. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. Genesis 8:22. That is not poetry. That is policy. The universe runs on sowing and reaping. What you consistently plant, you will inevitably harvest. You don't pray crops out of barren soil. You plant. You don't fast a harvest you never sowed. You align. Tweet this right now. Seeds don't negotiate with seasons. They obey laws. This is why outcomes arrive on schedule. Laws load results into seeds. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows bountifully will reap bountifully. 2 Corinthians 9:6. That is a ratio, not an opinion. If you don't like your harvest, audit your seed bag. If you don't like what's showing up, examine what's going out. Write it down. Prayers are powerful, but prayers are not substitutes for planting. Prayer waters seed. It does not replace seed. Let's walk into your money. Money does not respond to moods. It responds to math. Sow discipline, honor God, give generously, save consistently, invest patiently, and you will reap compounding. There is precious treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man devours it. Proverbs 21:20. Devouring is a seed. Every impulse swipe is a shovel in tomorrow's drought. The borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. Debt is a seed too. It grows into servitude on schedule. Set first things first. The first piece to honor, the next piece to your future. Live on the rest. Automate it. Laws love automation. Interest is simply a harvest that pays you when you plant it. Interest against you is a harvest that bills you when you refuse to plant. Tweet it. Your budget is not a document, it is a seed bag. Now your relationships. Trust is not a miracle. Trust is agriculture. Sow truth and time, and you will reap trust. Speak the truth in love. Ephesians 4:15. Let love be without hypocrisy. Romans 12:9. Hypocrisy is a weed. It chokes intimacy. Neglect is a drought. It cracks the soil between hearts. One strategic lie plants months of doubt. One faithful repeated truth plants years of safety. Call back. Show up. Put your phone down and your eyes up. A friend must show himself friendly. Proverbs 18:24. Write it down. Trust grows slowly and dies quickly. Guard it like a field. Leadership now. Influence is the harvest of service. Whoever would be great among you must be your servant. Mark 10:43. Servanthood is the seed that tells people they are safe in your shadow. Self-promotion is a seed too. It grows suspicion. When you quietly fix what is beneath your title, people freely give you what is beyond your title, their hearts. I watched a CEO stop mid-corridor to pick up trash no one else saw. That moment sowed a culture. No job beneath us, no person above us. Weeks later, his team worked late unasked. Influence arrived on schedule. He didn't beg for loyalty, he planted it. Let me clarify automatic. Automatic is not magic, automatic is Mark 4. The earth produces by itself. Mark 4:28. By itself automatos. You sow, the law grows. First the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the air on schedule. Stop uprooting seeds with impatience. Stop insulting the law by digging up what you planted to see if it's working. Align, then allow. Plant for the future you keep praying for, and let the law keep time. So here is your correction today. Choose one seed and plant it now. Start the transfer you've delayed. Schedule the weekly call you keep canceling. Write the note you owe. Serve someone without telling Instagram. Because seeds plus laws equal predictable harvest. Alignment turns outcomes into schedules. Lock this in your soul. What you set in the soil today sets the calendar for your tomorrow. Lead with your planting, and your harvest will meet you on time. Now, the diagnosis. Where are you asking a law to make an exception for you? Write it down. Tweet this to yourself. Exceptions are how integrity leaks. Song of Solomon says, catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that spoil the vineyard. Song of Solomon 2:15. It's the little fox, not the lion, that empties the vine. Ecclesiastes adds, dead flies make the perfumer's ointment give off a stench. Ecclesiastes 10:1. A fly is small, the smell is public. Small, secret violations sabotage big public outcomes. So let us audit the leaks. Missed deadlines you baptize as flexible. Hidden messages you would not read aloud to your spouse. Little exaggerations you call spin. Inflated mileage on the expense report, only $10. DMs you delete at midnight. Promises to call you break because it's inconvenient. Invoices you delay because cash is tight. Browsing history you clear like a ritual. A white lie about why you were late. Write them down by name. You cannot repent of a blur. Proverbs says, whoever conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. Proverbs 28:13. Concealment blocks prosperity. Confession unlocks mercy. Mercy is available, but it does not negotiate with secrecy. Let me press you with the questions that save destinies. Who are you at 2 a.m.? Are you for sale? What is your price? Is it a bonus, a body, a blue check, an invitation to a table you've been dreaming about? If someone could guarantee your mortgage paid off for one compromise, would you bend? If you can be bought, you are already broke. Write this down. Character is the price tag you put on your own soul. What will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Matthew 16:26. The devil never asks for the whole. He starts with a corner. There is no such thing as a private life. None. Luke 12:2 is not a suggestion. Nothing is covered up that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. Never do anything you do not want anyone to find out about. Tweet it. Tattoo it on your habits. Privacy is a myth. Only timing is hidden, and timing is cruel when you feed it compromise. The bill for violation has compound interest. It collects at the worst time, right when your name is being considered, right when the door finally opens, right when the camera is on, right when your child is watching. James writes, desire when it has conceived gives birth to sin, and sin when it is fully grown brings forth death. James 1:15. Fully grown means the bill matured. I once coached a manager, called her Lila. Brilliant, hardworking, loved by the team. She padded her project timeline by just a week and blamed the supplier to save face. The supplier was in the room on the next call. The lie surfaced. She didn't lose a week. She lost her reputation. Not because of incompetence, because of a leak. You don't break principles. Principles break you. So here is your directive. Pick one leak and close it today. Not tomorrow, today. Send the email and own the missed deadline. End the hidden thread. Correct the exaggerated claim on your profile. Repay the small amount you rationalize. Put a boundary on your phone. Write a new standard in your calendar. Honesty is my only policy. Align one law now, because when you stop the leak, the harvest stops leaking. Close it and watch outcomes find their schedule again. Lead with your life. Now the examiners are in the hallway and they do not knock. Write this down. 3 things will test your character: power, money, access. Tweet it now. Not your sermon, not your strategy, not your selfies. Your soul will be weighed by how you handle authority, resources, and private opportunity. The crucible is for silver, and the furnace is for gold, and a man is tested by the praise he receives. Proverbs 27:21. Tests come disguised as compliments, promotions, deposits, and invitations. Character is proven where you could get away with it, but refuse to. The first examiner is power. Power is the right to say yes or no and watch the room adjust. When your decision becomes the weather, do you bring shade or a drought? Jesus said, whoever would be great among you must be your servant. Mark 10:43. Power is not for privilege. Power is for protection. Write it down. Authority is a towel, not a throne. When you can hire or fire, do you serve people or use them? When you can cut the line, do you wait with the people you lead to show them that waiting is dignity? The temptation with power is to believe the rules are for others. That is the first step to becoming what you used to rebuke. Tweet this. Leadership without service is license abuse. He who rules over men must be just. 2 Samuel 23:3. The second examiner is money. Money is a mirror. It magnifies what you already are. He who is faithful in a very little thing is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. If you lie over pennies, you will steal over payroll. When resources increase, do you expand generosity or excuses? Do you tithe on the new figure, or do you create a theology to protect your greed? The love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, 1 Timothy 6:10. Money is a test of trust. Will you return what is not yours? Will you declare what you earn? Will you repay what you owe without being chased? Write this down. Money makes noise, but character speaks louder. The wise store oil, Proverbs 21:20. Fools devour it. Every dollar you direct is a seed. Your bank statement is a sermon you preach to your future. Pass the test. The third examiner is access. Access to bodies, rooms, and secrets. Opportunity for private pleasure, privileged information, backstage passes that bypass accountability. Joseph stood in that exam room and said, how then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. Access asks, will you trade covenant for convenience? When the message vanishes after 10 seconds, when the trip can be coded as conference, when the friend offers a locked phone in a quiet room, what do? Be honest now. If someone offered a shortcut and promised to hide your tracks, would you accept? Character is the man or woman who answers no before the offer is finished. I have made a covenant with my eyes, Job 31:1. That is a pre-decision, not a mood. Here is the boundary principle. Pre-decide your no. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions and throw the key to God. Write it down and put it where temptation lives. I do not lie. My yes is yes. My no is no. Matthew 5:37. I do not take money that isn't mine ever. I do not touch a body I am not in covenant with ever. I do not use power to punish. I use it to protect. I do not sign what is not true. I do not enter a room I cannot explain to my spouse, my board, or my God. Tweet it. Conviction before situation. Let me give you the hypotheticals that save you. The donor says, approve my nephew, and the gift doubles. What do? The CFO whispers, we can smooth the quarter by moving the date. What do? The influencer invites you to a private celebration. Phones off, doors closed. What do? Decide now. Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself. Daniel 1-8 before the menu arrived. Resolve is a law that protects you when adrenaline lies. Because when the examiners come, and they will, automatic outcomes belong to those who already chose their answers. Lead with your life. If you want automatic outcomes, you must install an operating system in your soul. Write it down. System sustain what moments start. Inspiration is a spark. Values are the wiring. Vision without values is destiny without discipline. Write it down. Many have a dream board, but not a discipline base. They decorate the room, called reputation, before they pour the foundation, called values. Don't buy curtains for a house with no concrete. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Psalm 127:1. Paul adds, no one can lay a foundation other than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. 1 Corinthians 3:11. Foundation first, paint later. Let me give you the cascade that governs every life. Philosophy produces values. Values produce morals. Morals inform ethics. Ethics produce character. Character becomes lifestyle. What is philosophy? It is your belief about reality, what is true about God, people, time, money, purpose. What you believe becomes what you value. What you value becomes what you call, right or wrong, your morals. Your morals become procedures under pressure, ethics. Those repeated procedures harden into your unchanging self-character. And over time, character becomes your lifestyle, the public rhythm everyone can read. Tweet this: change your philosophy and you will change your future. So build the operating system. Begin with non-negotiable values. Honesty is my only policy. Write it down. I do not lie. I do not steal. I keep my word. If it is not true, I do not say it. If it is not mine, I do not take it. If I said it, I do it. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That is a value becoming a moral becoming an ethic forming character. Luke 16:10 says, he who is faithful in a very little is faithful also in much. Faithfulness is the small gear that turns the big machine. Automatic success requires a value system that automates right choices under pressure. Now specify ethical protocols so your values have rails. Transparency rule: never do anything you don't want. Read aloud tomorrow. Luke 12:2. If the action cannot survive light, it should not survive the night. Time integrity: redeem the time. Ephesians 5:16. Be early, finish when you said plan margin. Tardiness is theft. You are stealing other people's lives 5 minutes at a time. Financial stewardship: honor God first, pay what you owe, save before you spend, track what you touch. Know well the condition of your flocks, Proverbs 27:23. Money you do not measure will master you. Relationship boundaries: guard your heart, Proverbs 4:23. Keep doors off dark rooms. No closed door meetings that require explanation gymnastics. No secret channels. If it needs a code name, it needs to be canceled. Do not confuse excitement with system. People get high on vision and then go home and live value free. Vision feels like flying. Values feel like building. Write it down. Construction is louder than charisma. Set daily standards as your scaffolding. I tell my team, print them and sign them. I do not lie. I do not steal. I keep my word. I honor time. I serve before I shine. Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord. Heartily means whole. Whole means one. One means integrity. Here is your practice for the next 30 days. Craft a 5-line value creed. 5 lines only, short, weighty, memorable. Example: 1, I tell the truth quickly. 2, I keep my promises precisely. 3, I treat money as stewardship, not status. 4, I honor time with punctuality and preparation. I guard covenant with clean boundaries. Put your own words, but keep the laws. Tape it to your mirror, your dashboard, your laptop lid. Read it aloud morning and night. Moses commanded these words: you shall teach them diligently. Talk of them when you sit, when you walk, when you lie down. And when you rise, write them on the doorposts of your house. Deuteronomy 6:6-9. Why? Repetition turns values into reflex. When pressure comes, and it will, you will not consult your emotions. You will consult your creed. The operating system will answer for you. Your yes will already be yes. Your no will already be no, Matthew 5:37. This is how outcomes become automatic, not by accident, but by architecture. Build a foundation, set the rails, speak the creed, and watch decisions make themselves in the day of testing. Lead with your life. Now is when we move from creed to correction. Write it down. 1 precise alignment executed today starts the engine of automatic outcomes. Now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:2. Delay is disobedience with a calendar. Tweet this: correction today prevents destruction tomorrow. Step 1, name the violated law. Truth, stewardship, honor, diligence, purity. Pick one, not 5-1. When did you ask a law to make an exception for you? Write it in ink. I violated truth when I exaggerated the numbers. I violated stewardship when I spent what I did not have. I violated honor when I spoke against them in secret. I violated diligence when I kept snoozing assignments. I violated purity when I entertained what I promised to refuse. Pray David's prayer. Search me, O God, and see if there be any grievous way in me. Psalm 139:23-24. Specificity is the door to mercy. Step 2, define the new non-negotiable. 1 sentence, present tense, measurable. Make it plain. Write the vision. Make it plain on tablets. Habakkuk 2:2. Examples: I tell the truth immediately, no spin, no delay. I live on 70%, save 20%, give 10%, documented monthly. I arrive 10 minutes early every meeting, every day. I submit invoices within 24 hours, timestamp. I do not direct message privately with someone I shouldn't ever. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Matthew 5:37. Non-negotiable means the discussion is over before the temptation begins. Step 3, remove the trigger. Don't debate, delete. Unfollow the feed that feeds your weakness. Unsubscribe from the midnight sale that steals your future. Relocate the temptation. Move the TV out of the bedroom, the computer into public space, the credit card out of your wallet. Automate the good choice. Schedule the transfer. Turn on content filters. Place recurring alarms for review. Jesus said if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Matthew 5:30. Amputation is mercy when the infection is moral. Make righteousness the path of least resistance. Step 4, public micro commitment. Tell one trusted person a day by a clear deadline. Not a crowd, one guardian. Confess your sins to one another that you may be healed. James 5:16. Give them your non-negotiable in writing. Book a weekly 10-minute audit on the calendar. Light heals faster than darkness hides. Put it in your phone now. Recurring, named with an alarm. Accountability is the fence that keeps your seed from the goats. Step 5, replace the seed. Do the right action immediately. Pay the small debt you rationalize. Send the apology. Return what isn't yours. Correct the resume line you fluffed. Cancel the private thread. Set the boundary in clean words and hit send. Zacchaeus met Jesus and said, if I have defrauded anyone, I restore it fourfold. Luke 19:8. Restoration is a seed. Harvest of trust grow from it. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. James 1:22. Do it before sundown. Don't let the sun set on your misalignment. Ephesians 4:26. This is the protocol. Simple, ruthless, holy. Name the law, define the standard. Remove the trigger. Go public small. Replace the seed. Tweet it again. Correction today prevents destruction tomorrow. When you move into alignment, creation becomes your ally. The law you honor starts working for you while you sleep. God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. James 4:6. Humility acts quickly, so make the vow and move now. Lead with your life. Automatic is not self-sustaining. It is system-sustained. Write it down. Rhythms protect revelations. If you want to stay aligned, build habits that serve your vows. Cue, routine, reward. This is how the brain is discipled. Bind your habits to your values, not your moods. Say the cue. At wake up, speak your 5-line creed aloud. Routine. Review your calendar and pre-choose integrity, time blocks, clear margins, honest buffers. Reward, law of the wind, and thank God for peace. Great peace have those who love your law. Psalm 119-165. Peace is your reward loop. Tweet this. Consistency is character on a calendar. Make it visible. Jesus had customs, as was his custom. He went into the synagogue on the Sabbath. Luke 4:16. Customs are character's clothes. Create a cue for truth. First meeting, first email, first call. A cue for stewardship. First transaction honors God and the future. A cue for purity. First hour and last hour are phone-free and spouse-facing. A cue for diligence. First 90 minutes deep work before you touch applause. Routine, routine, routine until your reflex says yes to right and no to ruin. Boundaries now. God rails precede God duty. Write it down. Decide your no before desire decides you. Renew your no list weekly. Block time every Sunday evening, 15 minutes to read it aloud and sign it again. I do not lie. I do not steal. I keep my word. I do not enter dark rooms. I do not hide financial movements. Keep your heart with all diligence. Proverbs 4:23. Diligence is not drama. Diligence is review. Move your fences forward. Clear doors of secrecy. Cash without record. Travel without visibility. Meetings without witnesses. Boundaries are not distrust. They are design. Live loudly. There is no such thing as a private life. If you can't post it, don't do it. If it can't be read aloud to your team, your spouse, or your Lord, it cannot be part of your life. Nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest. Luke 8:17. Tweet this: light is a lifestyle. Let your light so shine before men. Matthew 5:16. Holiness is oneness. Oneness is public-private collapse. Be the same person everywhere. 2 a.m. You must match 2 p.m. you. Integrity is not an act. It's an identity. Gift before platform. Serve and let fruit advertise you. A man's gift makes room for him. Proverbs 18:16. True leaders never seek followers. They seek to serve. Trees do not travel to customers. The fruit draws them. Make a habit loop for service. Cue, enter a room. Routine, find a need beneath your title. Reward, watch, trust, rise. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. Mark 10:45, tweeted. Platforms chase servants. Sabbath and silence. Rest is resistance against ego and frenzy. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Exodus 20:8. Holy means one, so make your schedule one with your soul. Block weekly Sabbath. No selling, no scrolling, no scrambling. Be still and know. Psalm 46:10. Jesus withdrew to lonely places to pray, Mark 1:35. And he invited his disciples, come away and rest a while, Mark 6:31. Silence clears the fog so you can hear laws again. In quietness and trust shall be your strength, Isaiah 30:15. Rest recalibrates your compass when outcomes start arriving and applause grows loud. Community is your continued conscience. Inspection prevents infection. Iron sharpens iron, Proverbs 27:17. Invite principled people to inspect your life calendar, cash flow, commitments, communications. Two are better than one. If either falls, the other lifts. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Give them keys, full access, not curated highlights. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, Proverbs 27:6. Schedule a monthly integrity audit, 30 minutes, 4 questions. Did I tell the truth quickly? Did I keep my promises precisely? Did I handle money as stewardship, not status? Did I keep covenant with clean boundaries? Answer before God, not your ego. Here is your maintenance vow. I will keep cues that honor my creed. Renew boundaries before desires. Wake up, collapse public and private into one honest life. Let service, not striving, lift my name. Rest weekly to hear God clearly and submit to inspection so infection dies small. Sustained success is protected by rhythms and relationships that keep you one person everywhere. Lead with your life. When laws knock, they don't ask your mood, they collect. Galatians 6-7 is not a lyric, it is law. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, that will he also reap. Harvests come with smiles or subpoenas. Write it down. Principles will collect either in harvest you enjoy or in judgments you endure. You don't break principles, violations break you on their timing. And timing loves the stage when the lights are brightest and the room is full. Let there be holy sobriety in your soul. Numbers 23:19. God is not a man that he should lie. If he established it, it stands. Gravity does not negotiate with your good intentions. Neither do truth, purity, stewardship, or honor. Say this out loud and write it down. You can never disagree with the principle. Again, you can never disagree with the principle. You may ignore it, delay it, deny it, but you cannot disagree with it. It will wait at your door like a faithful creditor. Yet, hear the hope as loud as the warning. Lamentations 3:22-23. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Mercy does not suspend law. Mercy escorts you back into alignment so the law works for you again. The next right seed you sow is rewarded. The moment you repent, confess, restore, and replant, grace gets to work. He who confesses and forsakes will obtain mercy. Proverbs 28-13. Tweet it. Grace is not a loophole. Grace is a ladder. So we end with a vow that puts iron bars around your soul for your own freedom. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions. Character is self-imposed discipline. Print your 5-line creed and post it where you live, and work on the refrigerator, above the desk, on the dashboard, on the doorpost. Read it morning and night. There is no such thing as a private life. Let the walls preach to you so you live loudly. Psalm 15 describes the citizen of God's presence as one who swears to his own hurt and does not change. That's you now. Honesty is my only policy. Write it down and sign it. And now the commission. Lead with your life. Model image before dominion in your home, your business, your city. Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. Image first, dominion second. Become the same person at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. Use power to protect, money to serve, access to honor. Let your company feel the safety of your standards. Let your children witness your yes be yes. Let your city see light, not slogans. Let your light so shine before men, Matthew 5:16. A is always A, be that statue in a storm. Choose today. I have set before you life and death. Therefore choose life, Deuteronomy 30:19. Choose alignment, choose truth, choose restoration. Consequences are certain. But so is redemption when you realign, make the vow, and move now. Say it again and write it big. Where weakness normally whispers, you can never disagree with the principle. And as we close, circle to the hook that must never leave your mouth. Tweet this: you don't break principles, principles break you. Then go make one correction today.